Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to the Vaishnava devotees, and all glories to His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Devotees, we thank you all for being here today. We are very much blessed, as you may already be aware. We have His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj, who will be speaking to us today from the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And so we humbly request all devotees to be very attentive and alert. And if possible, please, you turn on your cameras so Maharaj may see your beautiful faces and thereby receive the utmost blessings. So, Maharaj, thank you so much for being here today. Hare Krishna, thank you, Maharaj. It's so good to have your darshan today, Maharaj. And it's beautiful, it's Friday, so we can carry this through the weekend till we come back next week. So without further ado, we may put the verse on the screen and you take it over from here, Maharaj.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the 9th chapter of Canto 2, verse number 2. Bahurupa iva bhatihi mayaya bahurupaya Raman mano guneshyasa mamaham iti manyate. Translation. The illusion living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceives, thinking in terms of I and mine. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The different forms of the living entities are different dresses offered by the illusionary external energy of the Lord. According to the modes of nature, the living being desires to enjoy. The external material energy is represented by her three modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. So even in the material nature, there's a chance of independent choice by the living entity. And according to his choice, the material energy offers him different varieties of material bodies. There are 900,000 varieties of material bodies in the water, 2 million vegetable bodies, 1,100,000 worms and reptiles, 1 million forms of birds, 3 million different bodies of beasts, and 400,000 human forms. Altogether, there are 8,400,000 varieties of bodies in different planets of the universe, and the living entity is traveling by so many transmigrations according to the different modes of enjoying spirit within himself. Even in the particular body, the living entity changes from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age, and from old age to another body created by his own action. The living entity creates his own body by his personal desires, and the external energy of the Lord supplies him the exact form by which he can enjoy his desires to the fullest extent. The tiger wanted to enjoy the blood of another animal, and therefore, by the grace of the Lord, the material energy supplied him the body of a tiger with facilities for enjoying blood from another animal. Similarly, a living entity desires to get the body of a demigod in a higher planet can also get it by the grace of the Lord. If he is intelligent enough, he can desire to get a spiritual body to enjoy the company of the Lord, and he will get it. So that the minute freedom of the living entity can be fully utilized, and the Lord is so kind that he will award the living entity the same type of body he desires. The living entity's desiring is like dreaming of a golden mountain. A person knows what a mountain is, and he knows also what gold is. Out of his desire only, he dreams of a golden mountain. When the dream is over, he sees something else in his presence. He finds in his awakened state that there is neither gold nor a mountain, what to speak of a golden mountain. In different positions of the living entities in the material world, under multifarious manifestations of bodies, are due to the misconception of mine and I. The karmi thinks of this world as mine. The jnani thinks I am everything. The whole material conception of politics, sociology, philanthropy, altruism, etc., conceived by the conditioned soul, is on the basis of this misconceived I and mine, which are products of a strong desire to enjoy material life. Identification with the body and the place where the body is obtained under different conceptions of socialism, nationalism, family affection, and so on and so forth, is all due to forgetfulness of the real nature of the living entity. And the whole misconception of the bewildered living entity can be removed by the association of Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, as all this is explained in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Om Gyan Timirandasya Jena Jena Salakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Taruvischa Kripa Sindhu Pe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this verse and purport, it very carefully delineates the categories of existence within the material world and the entanglement of the living entity in the material world. When we say the word entanglement, it doesn't register with some people because they mistakenly think, that they can control the material energy, but it's not possible.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it possible to slightly make your camera go up a little bit so we can see your lotus face, Maharaj? Excellent. Yes. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. So the living entity in the material world has desires to enjoy, because the desire to enjoy is intrinsic or innate in the soul's existence. But illusion by one's misidentification with the body, that desire to enjoy takes the form of trying to control the material energy. And through that control, one is trying to enjoy in different ways. That control is a misconception, because material energy is Krishna's energy, and Krishna explains that it works under his direction. To control the material energy is not possible, because the material energy is powerful. And as Prabhupada explains, Srishti Stisti Palaya. Srishti means creation, Stisti means maintenance, Palaya means destruction. Material energy is so powerful, it can create, it can maintain, and it can destroy, but all under the direction of the Supreme Source, Sri Krishna himself. But the living entity, illusioned by the idea of enjoyment in the material world based on the body that they have, tries to manipulate that material energy. Therefore, based on a desire to enjoy in a certain type of way, and the activity that one performs based on that desire, they create a certain consciousness. And that consciousness extends itself continuously throughout the life, and it formulates at the time of death. And at the time of death, based on that final consciousness, mixed with our previous consciousness from previous life, we get a body that is to facilitate those desires. Prabhupada says there is a class of living entities who like to eat everything and anything, so they become a pig. There's a class of living entities who like, as is mentioned here, they like to drink blood, so they become a tiger. If one wants to enjoy in this material world by getting power or position, they may get a particular type of body which will facilitate their desire to achieve that. So everything is working carefully on the material nature, but no one can see how the material nature works. So this I in mind, Janasamoham Yamaham Meti, is mentioned by Rishabdev in the 5th canto, is moha. Moha means illusion. Because we are not the body, and therefore the sense of I is all wrong. And at the same time, material energy is the control of everything in this world. Therefore, nothing belongs to the living entity. Although life in this material world means to accumulate and acquire many things, and claiming those by my efforts, this is mine. So, but that is not possible because no one can control the material energy, and everyone is under the wrong conception of existence, thinking the body is me. And so, therefore, it says that Kardanum Guna Sangosyo Sadasat Joni Janmasu. The living entity travels throughout the universe, as is mentioned here. There are 8,400,000 species of living entities in different bodies. So one can get any one of them based on their particular consciousness and the activities they perform to fulfill that desire. And so material energy will supply under the direction of Krishna. What is that verse from Prahlad Maharaj? Karma Daivana Trena. He says that upon taking birth, it's accumulation of all our activities and desires from the previous life mostly, and from the effects of lives before the previous life. So, but here it mentions, Prabhupada said, but if we want to associate with and experience real happiness, then we have to associate with our source, and that is Krishna. And that can only be done by devotional service. Krishna says, Bhakti Mama Bhajananti Yavanyas Tatmitattvataha. If you want to approach me, you have to approach me through devotional service. There's no other way. And therefore, one can associate with Krishna through the process of devotional service, which centers around and eulogizes the process of hearing, chanting, and worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we start to gradually lose this misconception that I am this body and things in this world are for my enjoyment. And as we associate with Krishna, we go above the effects of the three modes of material nature. The three modes of material nature will always be there, but they won't have an effect. It's just like if you are walking in a rain storm and you're getting wet, then you may stop, get an umbrella, get some rain clothes, and continue on with your journey. And now you're not getting wet, but you're still going on your journey. So our journey is not to somehow go from one material body to another, trying to enjoy and suffer according to that association with the material energy. Because no one can really enjoy. The idea of enjoyment in the material world is simply an attempt to enjoy. No one is happy. If everyone was actually happy and free from fear, which is one of the main principles of material energy, Prabhupada was saying, I was just listening about an hour ago, Prabhupada was saying, everyone in the material world is fearful. They're afraid of something, no matter who they are or what body they're in. Even Lord Brahma, he's afraid of losing his post. Indra reacted to Krishna when he tried to stop his worship in the Govardhan yagya. So even great personalities have this element of fear, and that is the quality of anyone who has a material body. Fear is always there, and then the ultimate fear is, of course, death or losing this material body, because everyone doesn't know where they're going to go, nor do they like to leave their present situation. It is explained, even if one is suffering in this world, still they are still afraid of death because they think that, somehow or other I should go on in this suffering condition, that rather than to lose this suffering condition. So this is the consciousness of the conditioned souls in the living. And here, the very last line in the purport says that one has to get knowledge and guidance from Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. But that is interpreted as that one has to get knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master, who can take one out of this cycle of illusion and bring one back to their real consciousness as servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that, because no one can get away from service. Someone might say, well, I don't want to serve. I want to be served. But even those who think like that, they have to serve in order to get the position of being served. And even when they're being served, they're also serving, because serving is innate in the living entity's existence. One cannot get away from the service attitude. If one is not serving any living entity in the material world, they're serving their mind. The dictates of the mind will push them to act in different ways, and then they become servant of their own mind. So this servant attitude is just, but when it's directed towards eternal life, serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's joyful and it raises one up away from the suffering of the material energy. So one has to seriously take shelter of the spiritual master's instructions and engage in devotional service. And that seriousness means that one has to be, as Rupa Goswami, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service, because without enthusiasm, material energy will push one back into a more mundane type of consciousness, and one will start to struggle just to try to get a little happiness in this world. So that enthusiasm is the nature of the soul's success in Krishna consciousness. So enthusiasm means that one has to be eager for service. One has to be eager to glorify the Lord. One has to be eager to associate with devotees who are glorifying and serving the Lord. One has to think of ways, wherever they are, whoever they are, how to serve the Lord so they can always stay somehow engaged in that. Because the material energy will always be ready to take the place of devotional service soon as we become a little lazy or lax in devotional service. Good material energy is very powerful. And that's our job, is to divert our attention away from Krishna and towards serving in the material world. So this process of devotional service is very wonderful. Krishna explains it in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Susukam Kartam Avyayam. It is not only sukam, it's susukam, it's very joyful. And it's chanting, singing, dancing, taking nice food stuff, associating with others who are doing the same thing, and also reading nice books about the goal of life, who is Krishna, what is his activities in the spiritual world, what is his activities when he comes to the material world. There are unlimited amounts of knowledge available about Krishna, the spiritual world, and our relationship with him. So we should not waste time with mundane talk or mundane literature, because it's just like Prabhupada says, the frog is croaking. He's making his caw sound, and the snake is listening, and he picks up on the sound, and he's gonna get that frog because he can hear where he's caught. So if we waste time with talking nonsense about things that have no relationship with our well-being in this material world or spiritual advancement, then we're calling death to come faster and faster. So, but if we stay fixed in devotional service, and the basis of that is to find and connect with devotees in devotee association. So the whole process of Krishna consciousness is centered around sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva sastri hoy, lavamatta sadhu sange, sarva siddhi hoy. So we should always be making plans to associate with devotees and engaging in devotional service. We may have other responsibilities with family and occupation or education, but they are not the main things, nor will they give us the satisfaction we are looking for. It only comes by way of devotional service. So we have to give time to that, but we should not be overly absorbed in these things, but take sufficient time to associate with devotees. And the quality of that association, even a moment's association with a pure devotee, or any devotees actually, can purify one's consciousness and awaken our knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the more we come closer to Krishna, it is like the more you come closer to the fire, the more warmer you get. The more you come closer to Krishna, the more happy you get, the more you get free from anxiety. Sometimes people they have so many problems. They have this problem, that problem, this problem. The problems, there are so many categories of problems. But the real problem is lack of Krishna consciousness, that's all. As we put Krishna more in our life, and then we are protected from the difficulties of this material world. And even if there is some difficulties, we can deal with it in a very easy way and stay fixed in our spiritual practice. This is Krishna consciousness. And so devotees should always be making plans how to associate with devotees and to take part in the process of devotional service, especially chanting the holy names of the Lord and taking Krishna Prasadam. These two things are the power-packed formula for raising our consciousness above this material energy. And of course, serving and associating with devotees fulfills the need for friendship, for social happiness, and it also gives us facilities by which we can learn so many things in the association of devotees. We can also grow in the association of devotees by learning, by serving, by also by getting free from our material attachments, wrong conceptions of what we think is the purpose of life. Everything becomes clear in the association of devotees, especially those who are fixed in devotional service. Okay, so stop there and we can open it up for questions. We can go for another half hour for questions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful Krishna Katha. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comment, realizations, please you may indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to speak. Thank you all for being here. Maharaj, I have one question. It's interesting. Well, I first have to say thank you so much for blessing us with your presence. And also thank you for being with us and giving us your wisdom and love. Maharaj, I heard you say a couple of hours or so ago you were reading or you were listening to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was saying that basically everybody in this material world is fearful. Because it seems to me that naturally everybody is fearful. It's a primary trait that every human being has. Even a newborn baby has fear. You throw the newborn baby up, it entertains fears that it's going to drop and fall. So if it is an innate trait in us, how do we get it out of us when Krishna says, do not fear, ma suchaha? What is Krishna actually telling us when Krishna tells us, do not fear? This is my question, Maharaj, please.
He's talking about the hesitation and the fearfulness that comes by not believing in his words. He said he gives you the formulas. He said, give up all your ideas on how you can be happy in this world. Take shelter of me and engage in my devotional service. He said, there's nothing to fear. If you come to me, and then he says, I will give you all protection. And so that protection is his promise that the devotee will be safe within the confines of Krishna's shelter through the process of devotional service. But there's always this element, as long as we have a material body, there is this element that something will happen to the body that will cause us some unhappiness or maybe even destroy the body. So that element of fear is there. But a devotee who's engaged in devotional service thinks, I'm under Krishna's control. He's taking care of me. And if he wants to kill me, he can kill me. If he wants to make me live happily for a long time in this material world, he can also do that. The devotee has complete faith that if he follows Krishna, that's the prerequisite, then everything will work according to Krishna's plan. So it's like the child who is being thrown up in the air. There may be a little fear, but because the father is quite competent to catch the child, there will be no calamity will happen in that situation. So Krishna, he says, I will give you protection. I will give you everything you need in order to live in this world and at the same time come back to me. So that faith has to be there. And that faith takes, it's something that we have to practice, we have to develop, we have to see how it's being done by those who are fixed in devotional service. We read the books, we get the knowledge. From the knowledge, we become fixed in the idea that Krishna is our protector. Krishna is our maintainer. Krishna is our provider. Not only does he protect, he maintains, and he also provides what you need to live in this world and to come back to him. So he is the complete shelter. And that's why when he says that verse, he's not just saying, well, you come to me and then everything, that's the first step. No, he's saying as soon as you surrender to him fully, then everything is taken care of. Inside, outside, everything.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the explanation and clarification. Dear devotees, if anyone may have something to ask, please you may do that. Maharaj may not be here with us for too long. So if you have questions, please you do that as early as possible. Maharaj, the different species of bodies listed in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, I wanted to know, are these species limited to this earth planet, this Bharatvarsh alone, or these species are scattered all over within this four-headed Lord Brahma's universe? And that means that there may be some human species that we may not be able to come across because they may not be on this particular planet, but they are on a different planet, or they are all limited to this earth planet alone.
Oh, that mentions that in the purport. Mr. Prabhupada said they're scattered throughout the entire universe. He says the scientists will try to find, just for instance, they'll try to find how many different types of fish there are, but they can never come to the number, as it says here, there is, 2 million forms of aquatics. You'll never catch that number. They'll come maybe a couple 100,000 at most. So, this is throughout the entire universe. And I think it goes it goes beyond the universe. It's in all of the universes. And this is within the scope of the material energy. Material energy is, we have this one planet, there's so many planets, and then that this universe is one of the universes in a whole bag of universes. There's hundreds and thousands of universes and planets. So that's where the 8,400,000 species come. There are all varieties everywhere in the material world. Many of them you haven't even seen. We've seen very small portion of even. And Prabhupada talks about there's one fish. He's called a Timangilla fish. He can swallow whales. It's so big. And devotees were listening to Prabhupada. They said, we have never seen such fish. And Prabhupada said, what have you seen? You're still coming out of your mother's womb. How much have we seen? We haven't seen it even on this planet, what to speak about outside of this planet. There's Prabhupada talked about, there's one bird who can fly from planet to planet. He's so big. His wing spread is huge, and he can go from one planet to another simply by his wing power.
Yeah.
So we don't. What do we know about the varieties in creation is just so vast.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Maharaj. I really like the Temingal fish and that huge bird because I also came across it and I was wondering, wow. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Mother Shri Devi, please you may unmute. Hare Krishna. Mother Shri
Hare
Devi.
Krishna. Thank you, Sadhya Prabhu.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
accept my humble obeisances, dear Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, exactly on this topic of Krishna saying, you don't have to worry, just surrender unto me. And that is actually meaning surrender to the orders of the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is the mercy manifestation of Krishna in this material world. But in spite of knowing that, in spite of hearing from the spiritual master, and in spite of receiving his orders, we are very reluctant to surrender. We don't want to surrender. We think we know better, or no, Guru Maharaj didn't get it right. He doesn't understand. Maybe, there is some component that is missing. And so we persist with our own ideas to our detriment, and of course, displeasing Krishna. So, what is this causeless unwillingness to surrender to Guru and Krishna?
The same thing that caused us to come to the material world. There's an idea of independence, or this false sense of independence, that I know better and I can make my own plan for my own happiness in life. It's called the root cause of material existence. The idea of wanting to be the controller and the enjoyer. I want to enjoy, and in order to do that, I have to control. So because we don't have enough faith in the process and in the spiritual master, we take his instructions to be selective. We choose what we want. We think the spiritual master is an ordinary person. He looks like us, he walks like us, he even eats like us, so many things, so many similarities. But the difference is that he's empowered by the Lord to do the service of uplifting the conditioned souls. So he has that knowledge. When someone asked Prabhupada, do you know everything? Prabhupada said, I am not Krishna, but I know what I need to know. Which means he knows how to guide his disciples. But we don't want to be guided. That's our formula for thinking we can do better, we know better. Or we take our material life as being more important than our spiritual life. We put that first. We think, well, spiritual life, yeah, I can do it anytime, but my material life, there is a schedule. I got to do this at this time. I got to do this at this time. Then when you get sick, then all of your schedules goes up in the air anyway. So this is the problem. They say if you sacrifice the spiritual for the material, you lose both. So material duties have to be done in such a way that they don't interfere with our practice in spiritual life, not the other way around. That's important. If we want to get out of this material world, if we want to get back to Krishna, if we don't want to take another birth and have to go through this cycle of struggling again, then we have to understand that the formula has been given. The instructions of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the devotee, but not just rote following, but actually doing it in such a way as one is trying to go deeper into those instructions. Because the spiritual master will only reveal what a devotee can handle. The more they surrender, the more they get the mercy, and the more they get additional instructions and guidance. Those who are not surrendered, they have to get past what they've already been given before they can actually take on further surrender. Spiritual master's he has to be cautious not to push the devotee beyond what they can actually do. because if they don't follow his instructions, that is called a guru avagya. That's an offense. And then that becomes difficult for them in their practice of spiritual life.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mother Shri Devi, for the beautiful question, and Maharaj for the awesome answer and enlightenment. Maharaj, if I may follow up on Mother Shri Devi's question, that as you explained, we all understand how dangerous it is for one to consider the guru to be an ordinary person, ordinary human being. But the dangerous counterpart to that is also, to my understanding, quite dangerous. Because I remember some time ago when Bhaktivedanta Maharaj will come to West Africa, and of course, because of mosquitoes those days, Gurudev would use mosquito net. He would go in his mosquito net at night to sleep. But some of us in our neophyte stages were thinking, the spiritual master is not an ordinary human being. He doesn't even need a mosquito net. I'm sorry. So some devotees also feel that since the spiritual master is not an ordinary human being, he does not even feel hungry. But I think such conceptions are wrong. So my question in brief is, how does a devotee honestly and genuinely understand and approach the spiritual master, that the spiritual master is not an ordinary human being, and at the same time understand that because the spiritual master is in a human body, there may be some physical needs that the spiritual master may need and have to be provided for by the devotees to the spiritual master. Please, if you can enlighten us on this seemingly difficult conception. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, well, spiritual master, he has a body too. Of course, his body is also somewhat spiritualized, but it doesn't make him free from the possibilities of some of the dangers in this material world. So he also takes caution, sees his body as being given to him by Krishna to be used in Krishna's service, so he takes care of the body in that way. Prabhupada would always say to his devotees, take care of your health. And he was also very much aware of taking care of his own health. He spent a lot of time getting massages, going on morning walks, seeing doctors, all of that. We all do that in order to make sure the body is suitable for doing a devotional service. But the difference is that he knows that the body is not him, but at the same time he takes care of it. Just like you have your car, it's not you, but still you take care of it because it's useful.
Yeah.
And so in the same way, so taking care of one's health is also part of being able to practice Krishna consciousness more powerfully, more effectively. So that's natural. The spiritual master's greatness is his connection with Krishna as his representative. That's where he is not ordinary. Because Krishna talks to him and tells him what to do, especially when it comes to his disciples. When he wants to know something about his disciples, Krishna helps him and guides him also, because that's his service to the Lord, taking care of Krishna's parts and parcel. So that's his extraordinary nature. That's his extraordinary quality.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Harichakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute. And if possible, you turn on your camera, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please
Okay.
accept my obeisance.
How'd it go, Hari?
All glory to you, Maharaj. All glory to you, all glory to you.
I can't wait to dance with you again.
Yeah, Maharaj, we're waiting for you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Maharaj, in line with the question that just asked, the other way, like, and in your deliberation, you also mentioned again how important it is to be in devotee service. Always try to be in the application of devotee. But also, we hear that, oh, we shouldn't be attached to our family. But we hardly hear how we hardly get encouragement how to actually encourage our immediate family, like biological family, how to become devotees so that we can get the application right in our home. We are always hearing, don't be attached to your family, don't be attached to your family, but be attached to devotees. So what is your advice on that, Maharaj?
Well, all your families are all devotees anyway, right?
Luckily for him, yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, Hari Chakra, he's got 5 daughters, they're all devotees. How many? 4 or 5?
5.
No, 5, Maharaj.
Yeah, I was there at the wedding last year, one of them. Yeah, so these are devotees, but they're parts and parcels of Krishna. Even from the material point of view, they're a soul that belongs to Krishna. So our attachment to our family or to those that we're responsible for and taking care of and providing for is devotional service. In other words, we're doing our duty as a father, we're doing our duty as a mother, we're doing our duty as even within the family. But that's not material, that's spiritual, because we see that these family members are also Krishna's parts and parcels. So we have a responsibility. But the attachment comes when we get so much absorbed in the bodily conception of life, and we don't see them as who they actually are. Krishna, they belong to Krishna. So you're serving your family members as a service to Krishna, rather than simply doing it because you have some bodily connection with that family member. So that's how the great souls, they see everyone in the world as their family member because they see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. So that's an extended family. But yeah, but if you get too much absorbed in the bodily aspect of family life, then you lose the relationship. You start thinking, yeah, this is the whole thing, is this is my wife, this is my daughter, this is my home. It's not mine. You've been given them by Krishna to take care and to serve. That's all. They belong to Krishna.
Thank you so much,
you,
Maharaj.
Maharaj. Thank you very much. And yeah, there's my question stems from the idea. It's like, for instance, my parents, they were not like Hare Krishna devotees, and so when we joined the movement first, I mean, in the initial stages, people were discouraging us to even visit home when we were living in the temple. So the concept is, if I don't go home and preach to them and bring them closer, tell them something that will bring them closer to Krishna, for them to also become like at least favorable to Krishna. But if I'm advised, hey, no, don't go, otherwise they will take you away from devotional service, then where is the help? Meanwhile, I have to go outside somewhere to preach to completely neutral people I don't even have any connection with. Like, but meanwhile, the very people who gave birth to me, I'm being advised to get away from them because they may take me away from the matter. That aspect of
well, yeah, but you have to see, are they receptive? If they're not receptive, don't waste time.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're receptive, hey, then you can bring them along, make them fixed up devotees. But if they're not receptive, then you just waste your time. We don't preach to people who are not interested or not receptive. And that pertains to family members too. Family members.
Thank you.
For family members, we can give a little prasadam like that. That's good.
Mhm.
That's preaching.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Maharaj, this I and mine, we understand is the root cause of all our problems.
Right.
And so I remember one time, one guru was encouraging devotees to stay away from this I and mine. And there was a question that these are pronouns that we use, and it's almost impossible to completely throw them away. We're still going to use them. If someone is at the airport waiting for his or her luggage, and they ask, hey, whose luggage is this? Obvious. The devotee is going to say, this is mine. I'll say, these are my children. So how do we use these words and at the same time we have the understanding that this I and mine is the root cause of our predicaments in this material world. But somehow, I do not know if there is a way we can relate with others in this world without using these words, I and mine.
Yeah, because how long will it be yours anyway? How long will you be the I you think you are? All these things will pass. It wasn't there in the past, it's not going to be there in the future. So it's a false idea. That's why it say janasa moham. Mohan means illusion, I and mine. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. He gives us things to use, and we have to take care of it. So we take care of it as if it was ours, but we know it's not. It belongs to him.
Okay. That's very understandable. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Even the body we have belongs to him.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, are you coming to Giranagri anytime soon?
I'm coming to America in the middle of May, but I'll try to come to Giranagri sometime in June.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
I see Jana Vatsal there. She's there.
Yeah, Jana Vatsal. Yeah, she is there.
You can Giranagri?
Yes, I'm in Nagari. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Our glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your wonderful class. How are you, Maharaj? Is your health all right?
Well, there's been better days. But I'm happy, don't worry. It's okay. I'm on my way to India and on Sunday, so.
Okay.
Where are you now?
I'm in London. Rainy, cold London.
If you see Sakya Rasa Prema Prabhu, tell him I say Haribol.
Rasa Prem?
Sakya Rasa Prema.
Satya Rasa Prema. Okay. I don't
Yes.
think I know him.
He is a Jayapataka Maharaj disciple, and he has a shloka course that he gives to devotees. He started during the pandemic over Zoom to connect the devotees to learning verses. So he has a shloka course for all, shlokership class.
He's in London.
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask around.
He just came back from India too.
Good. Yeah. So did I. I came back for a month and now I'm going back again.
Hare Krishna.
Oh,
Maharaj, we have one hand up. Govinda Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
so I only have about 5 more minutes before I have to go. So,
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. So this may be the last question. Govinda Prabhu, please.
Okay, thank you. Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to Srila Bhaitita Swami Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Haribol. Maharaj, my question is about this aspect of surrender. In the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave instruction, the last instruction, Sarvadamam Parityaja Mamekam Saranam Vraja. It's abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. The innate nature of a living entity is that of service. And Dharma is the nature of the soul.
right.
Service aspect, that's the nature of us. So if Krishna said we should abandon the varieties of religion and surrender unto him, I would like to know what's the difference between religion and the Dharma.
Oh, religion is a kind of faith where you have faith in a certain pathway that you follow rules and regulations which restrict you from material activities and are meant to inspire you in spiritual activities. Spirituality is the nature of the soul. Religion is external. Spirituality is internal, which is what you mentioned, Dharma. Dharma comes from the word D, which means essence. The essence of the soul's nature is to love and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the different paths of religion are ways by which we can follow and actually come to our spiritual realization, our spiritual essence. So when Krishna says varieties of religion, he means give up all of your own ideas on how you can make yourself happy or advanced in spiritual life. And just surrender to me. I'll take care of you. I'll guide you. So Narada Muni gives a interpretation of that statement. Basically, he says the same thing, that we have so many ideas on how we can make advancement this way, this path, this path, this path. But the essence is to surrender to the Lord's instructions, which comes through his bona fide spiritual master. And then we are actually on the path of Dharma. You see, when people take up different faith paths, we call them religions, but they're faith paths. And what do? They fight. My way is better than your way is better. And so many dissensions, differences. But on the spiritual platform, there's no differences because everyone is a pure spirit soul. Everyone is part or parcel of the Supreme Lord, and everyone has an eternal loving relationship with the Lord. That's the path that Krishna is encouraging us to take, not the path of so many ideas on how you can make advancement in spiritual life. But when you follow a particular path, if that path is bona fide, then you are heading towards your spiritual essence. You're coming to true Dharma or pure Dharma. If you follow that path carefully. If it's bona fide. Because some things that in the name of religion, they are somebody's concoction on how, what is religion. So there's always a new religion being made up by somebody somewhere in the world.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yeah. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Holiness Candramauli Maharaj. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare.
Kalpa Tarupcha, Patitanam Vaishnavabhyo Namo.
His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj ki.
Jai.